Hey guys, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to the X's and O's with Stephanienmxo. I know it's been a while since I put out another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about my recent experience in a Lyft and my experience with their customer service, or lack thereof, honestly. I've been a loyal Lyft customer for years. I don't use Uber, it's always been Lyft. Every city I've been to, I use Lyft. It's been my preferred choice, and after the experience that I had recently, I'm never using them again. So stay tuned if you want to hear why. My preference has always been Lyft. I started using rideshare apps in college, and for where I lived, Lyft always seemed to be cheaper than Uber. That's why it just became my preferred method of rideshare. And we've all heard issues from people we know with both rideshare services, but I'm kind of the opinion of, if I haven't had a bad experience, then just keep doing what I'm doing, you know? But if you're someone who likes to go off of reviews and you make consumer decisions based on some of the really positive or negative things that you hear, this story might be of interest to you. In today's day and age, you absolutely cannot get by with terrible customer service, but that's exactly what Lyft has. But we'll get to that part. The first part of my story is I was going to my friend Becca's apartment downtown, and then we were gonna go out that night. So I'm in my Lyft, I'm on my way, I get to her apartment, and I look in my purse and I realize I forgot my ID. Like, I've never left my ID anywhere before, I've never forgotten it before, never lost it, anything. So I'm like, dang, like I'm really upset at myself. I'm also upset because we're going to like some places downtown. So I already lifted all the way from my apartment to hers, which was in the area we were gonna go out in. And then I had to lift all the way back to my apartment to get my ID. Okay, so let's keep track here. That's lift number 1. To go down, lift number 2 to go back home to get my ID, and then lift number 3 to get back downtown. So we're already 3 lifts in at this point, and I'm super annoyed. I don't like to spend money, and I've already spent like a lot just on lifts. Like, we haven't even gone out yet. Like, I'm not gonna let it ruin my night, you know, like I'm like, okay, like no big deal. But I'm like really upset. Like, I don't think I can go anywhere. Super annoyed. Like, I just need to go home. Like, so at that point, I'm like, I have to call a Lyft to go back home. So I call another Lyft so I can go home, and the Lyft comes, picks me up, and I'm like on my way back, and I have my phone in my hand. I put my phone down, but not into my purse. And so when I finally got to my apartment, I like went upstairs like to my apartment, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, my phone. So thankfully I have an iPad. So I pull out my iPad and I'm like texting my friends like, hey, like I left my phone in the Lyft. Can you like try calling my phone so it'll ring in the backseat of this guy's car, and like he'll see it, and then like I can get my phone back. Of course they call my phone and no one answers, and I'm just like completely out of luck. And it's late at night at this point. He's not answering, there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't call him myself because I don't have a phone to call my phone that he has. So the next morning, my boyfriend has my location, so I called him and I'm like, hey, like, can you please like track where my phone is at? And he tracked it to a neighborhood that was like 20 minutes away from where I live. So I'm like, cool, all right, like we can go get my phone back. Becca picks me up and we go to the neighborhood, and the Lyft car that I was in was nowhere to be found. When my thought process with like going to the neighborhood was that I was gonna see like the car like in the driveway or something of a house, and like maybe I could like knock on the door and say like, hey, like, you know, like, but there's no, like the car's not there, but my location of my phone is saying it's there. So this is bad news bears. And so our next step is to call Lyft customer support, and this is where Lyft's customer support like failed me and the part that I'm like really upset about, because obviously it's like my fault for leaving my phone, but the way that it was handled by the company like is not okay. So thankfully Becca has a phone. So look up like Lyft support and like nothing comes up for a phone number. It's like enter in this form, like fill out this information, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, like I need immediate answers now. Like this is an emergency, like I need my phone. So we're like looking around, we finally find a phone number for passenger support and we call it and it was like, hey, like if you need customer support, please fill out the online form, and then hangs up. What? Like what? That's it? You know, like, so we find another phone number and it's for driver support. So like support for people who drive for Lyft. And I'm like, okay, like let's call it. Like I will do anything right now. So we call the number and someone picks up and they're like, hey, like, you know, how can we help you? And I was like, I'm not a driver, like I'm a passenger. I left my phone in my Lyft last night. Like, how can you help? Like, can you contact the driver? Like, can I contact the driver? Like something. He's like, okay. He's like, what's your name? Like, what's your Lyft account, phone number, and like, do you know like the name of the driver, like the car? And I didn't remember the name of the driver, but I remember the car that I was in and my phone number, obviously. So he was able to pull up my account and say like, yep, that's the right car that you were in. Okay, like this is the driver. I can send a request for the driver to reach out to you. And I was like, okay, I don't have a phone. Like, how is he gonna reach out to me? So I was like, he can have Becca's number, but like, I'm like at the location where my phone is. Like, can you just give me the driver's phone number so like I can call him and ask like if he has my phone? And Lyft support's like, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, I'm literally so close, you know, like I'm right here. I lost my phone less than 24 hours ago. Why can't you just give me his phone number? Like, this is an emergency, like I need my phone back. And like, okay, yeah, like losing a phone isn't like the biggest emergency in the world, but like what if it was and they still won't like help you out? Like the best they can do is just like send a request to the driver to reach out to me. There's no accountability. The driver doesn't have to reach out to me. They don't have to report anything to Lyft, like nothing. I'm just at the mercy of the driver reaching out to me. How does that make any sense? Like, and I always try to be nice to like customer service people, but I definitely went like full Karen on this guy because I'm like, how is there nothing else you can do? You know, like the fact that there's no accountability, like the driver doesn't have to say anything at all to me. And the fact that the only way they can reach out is not fair to passengers. So anyway, I'm like, okay, fine. Becca gives Lyft her phone number so they can reach out to her if the driver wants to say that he has my phone, even though he doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. So I'm like at a loss. My phone ends up dying, so I can't track it anymore. And no one from Lyft, the driver, Lyft customer support, nothing, nobody reached out to me for a week. Moment of silence. So after a week, I finally broke down and just went and bought a new phone. So that's annoying. I've been a loyal Lyft customer for 6 years, but I'm never riding with them ever again. At least not on my own dime, that's for sure. It just bothers me that there's no accountability. Like, I'm sure my phone ended up getting stolen out of the backseat of the driver's car, but he should at least reach out to the phone number that's provided to say that, you know? Like, the fact that they don't have to reply, say anything at all is not okay. Like, I'm sure there are tons of Lyft drivers that have been stealing items that have been left in their cars and not returning them. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. Like, maybe you guys don't agree that they should have some type of accountability, but I'm upset because I found $100 from Lyft in one night and $700 from a new phone. What do you guys think? I really want to hear from you guys. Comment below, like, What would you have done in this situation? Do you think that Lyft is in the wrong? Let me know if something like this has happened to you before. I definitely want to hear your experience. Thanks for watching the X's and O's with Stephanienmxo. Don't ride with Lyft.